What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new video / podcast of the Dynasty Dweebs. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously you can see we have a new podcast setup. And if you're listening on Apple iTunes, then you probably think we sound a lot better, hopefully. Today I'm joined with Zach Karcher. My name is Austin Biederman. And we're going to talk about some crowded backfields in the NFL.
Yep, we're going to start off with the Rams. They have Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson.
You want to break down those touches real quick for last year?
So Cam Akers is a rookie. Malcolm Brown had 71 touches, 5 touchdowns, and averaged 3.7 yards per carry. Darrell Henderson only had 43 touches, did not score a touchdown, and had 3.8 yards per carry.
Yep, and then they have Cam Akers, the rookie, obviously no touches last year. So
they lost a lot of touches in Ty Gurley, obviously.
Yeah, so Sean McVay released a statement saying they want to use all the backs that they have. I think also what it might come down to is who can block the best.
Yep.
Because Jared Goff's going to need some help. I know this line's not as good as it used to be for sure.
And who can become more consistent in the pass game and become more explosive. Yeah,
I would agree. I think that whoever emerges out of the backfield as a pass catcher is going to be the most valuable in fantasy football, because it's going to be really hard to tell which one of these guys is going to get the most rushing yards every single game. I think Malcolm Brown really will vulture some touchdowns. Do you like any of these guys in redraft at all?
I mean, you can take a swing for Cam Akers, but I wouldn't think he's a running back 1 or running back 2. He's probably being drafted as so right now. Yeah,
and then I'd say Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown are really like just RB4 status as of now.
Malcolm Brown, you can plug him in for a touchdown kind of guy.
Yeah, I'd say I'm high. I'm decently high on Cam Akers still for Dynasty. I think eventually he could emerge out of this backfield. I mean, remember, it's his first year. He doesn't need to be a starting running back. They don't want to force him into a role that he's not comfortable to be in yet.
Yep. All right, so the next backfield we have is the Patriots. They have Sony Michel, who had 259 touches last year and had 7 touchdowns. He also have Damian Harris, who got hurt last year, but he was a rookie. He's also going to be in a similar role as Sony Michel this year. They have James White, their pass catcher, who had 139 touches, 6 touchdowns. Rex Burkhead, who had 92 touches and 3 touchdowns, and Brandon Bolden, who had 24 touches and 4 touchdowns.
That's crazy. I didn't even know Brandon Bolden had 4 touchdowns last year. That's a lot.
It's so evenly spread out that this backfield is just impossible for fantasy.
Yeah, I think that James White's the best option for redraft because Cam Newton's on the team now. They had Christian McCaffrey when they were on the Panthers together. I think James White's going to be utilized kind of likely the same as McCaffrey.
And James White's always going to get his catches out of the backfield as a dump off, and he really often makes something happen with them.
Yeah, and then between Sony Michel and Damian Harris and Rex Burkhead, I'm going to still say that Sony Michel gets the majority of the touches. I think Damian Harris, we worked in some here and there. I mean, we haven't seen him play yet, so we don't know how well he's going to play in the NFL. So we'll wait and see. But Rex Burkhead's still going to be in there a good bit, I would think.
Yep, and it's just so many mouths to feed in that backfield.
Yeah, so if I had to break it down off their value, I'd say Sony Michel is still RB3. Damian Harris is RB4 with some upside, and Rex Burkhead's also an RB4. And you don't need Brandon Bolden on your team unless you're in like a 20-man league. But for dynasty perspective,
Damian Harris might be worth a shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a late round flyer. Hopefully, I don't think anyone in your league's taking him too high. But if you have Sony Michel in dynasty, you're not selling him; you're just holding. Wait to see how it shakes out, I think.
Yep. All right, for the next backfield, we have the Dolphins with Matt Breida and Jordan Howard. The big problem with the Dolphins is the lack of touches they give to their running backs.
Yeah, last year they ranked last in touches. I mean, they are also the worst team in the NFL, basically. So
they're always playing from behind.
Yeah, they're always playing from behind. The thing for Jordan Howard is he needs to be near the goal line to get touchdowns. He's not going to break off like 40-yard runs. That's going to be Matt Breida that's doing that. Well, not even runs. It's going to be more catching on the backfield. So I like Jordan Howard a lot, non-PPR, like standard. Like I think he could finish in the RB2 column at the highest, obviously not an RB1, but I still think he's a safe flex play for your team.
It's going to see how much of a stride the Dolphins offense makes this year too. Is Tua going to play or not, and are they able to score more points than last year? Because last year was just ugly.
Yeah, and right. So like if I mean, maybe they'll try to establish the run more. I mean, they're going to have to with Tua. I don't think they're going to want him going into games throwing the ball more than 30 attempts. I mean,
and maybe Tua's legs will help open up some holes for these running backs too.
Yeah, and I think Matt Breida has a higher floor just because of his abilities out of the backfield, and then Jordan Howard is more of a safe play
with touchdown upside.
I don't know what either of these guys' ADPs are, but I would assume Breida is going after Jordan Howard. I would think.
Maybe.
I would make the argument that he should, but
they're just so close, and they're both like. If you need a flex, I guess you can play them, but I'm not trying to go after them as a starting running back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so which one are you higher on, Howard?
I think Breida, PPR, Howard, standard.
That's fair enough. I think Jordan Howard will get more touchdowns, but Matt Breida might have more all-purpose yards between rushing and receiving.
Yep. All right. The next backfield we want to talk about is the Green Bay Packers. They have Aaron Jones, who had 285 touches last year with 19 touchdowns. Jamaal Williams, who had 146 touches with 6 touchdowns. 5 of them were receiving. And then they drafted a rookie in A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people in Dynasty of Aaron Jones were super pissed off when they saw the draft. I mean, I would imagine it sucks, man. I mean, Aaron Jones is on his last year of his deal. I mean, when you get Dillon, I mean, it pretty much speaks to me saying that we're not going to want to pay Aaron Jones what he wants. We're going to have Dillon and probably keep Jamaal Williams. That's what I would do if I were them.
Yep, they're trying to save money at the running back position. Aaron Jones could probably get paid somewhere else. I know Aaron Jones truthers were already mad about splitting carries with Jamaal Williams. I know they're not going to be happy with adding A.J. Dillon for this season. I see A.J. Dillon getting some goal line work too, which take away some of those 19 touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
Being huge.
I think A.J. Dillon's one of my favorite running backs in Dynasty Draft right now. He's just because I think he's going to develop his role so early in Green Bay that he could just be the touchdown guy. I mean, that's not a bad role to have at all.
No, we saw LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah,
just fine with
that.
Yeah,
LeGarrette Blount. I mean, dude, it can be. I mean, 2 touchdowns in a game. I mean, that gets you a decent amount of fantasy points. But like I said, I think Aaron Jones, even though his future value is a little shaky, I mean, this year he's still got to be an RB2 in my book for sure.
Yep.
With RB1 upside, 100%.
And A.J. Dillon's definitely a guy you're looking at in Dynasty.
Yeah, and A.J. Dillon, he could still emerge as an RB3. And I still like Jamaal Williams as an RB3, honestly. I mean, he really developed a pass-catching role on the Green Bay Packers, and I think they want to continue that, especially with the lack of receivers they gained this year. I mean, it looks like they're just going to roll with they obviously still have Devontae Adams and
Anthony Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard, and then Devin Funchess. But, I mean, is Devin Funchess really an addition to the receiving core? I mean, I think this is going to be a run-heavy offense still, especially after getting Dillon. All 3 of these guys could be top 30 backs.
All right, and then the last backfield we have to discuss is the Lions. They have Kerryon Johnson, who got hurt last year, only played 8 games, but he had 123 touches and 4 touchdowns. They had Bo Scarborough, who got 90 touches and had 1 touchdown, and Ty Johnson with 87 touches and no touchdowns. And then they drafted a first-round running back in DeAndre Swift. Or second-round running back in DeAndre Swift.
So, breaking this down, Kerryon Johnson, I mean, the guy has an unlimited amount of talent. He's a great player, but the guy cannot stay healthy. He's suffered injuries since high school. I mean, it's just been on his resume since high school, and that's why they took DeAndre Swift 100%.
Yep.
So
to take away some of that workload from Kerryon, which is going to hurt his fantasy value for sure.
Mm-hmm. Though the real question is, though, there still is a chance that Kerryon Johnson comes out swinging the first couple weeks, and just maybe this. I'm not saying Kerryon Johnson doesn't work hard, but when a team drafts a running back like DeAndre Swift, I mean, that's going to give you a kick in the ass to really get in gear.
And, I mean, DeAndre Swift I see working out much more in the pass game, but Kerryon's got to stay healthy. If he doesn't, DeAndre Swift is going to be a big-time fantasy player this year, I think.
I'm pretty much fading Bo Scarborough and Ty Johnson until it breaks down to injuries.
Yep.
But, I mean, honestly, the DeAndre Swift could certainly somewhat help Kerryon's value in the sense of him not getting hurt. Maybe he could play a full season and still have RB2 status. I mean, this could be more of a 1-2 punch. I know the Colts wanted to kind of do that with Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack in the beginning to start it out. But, I mean, do you see it as a more of a 1A, 1B, or definitely DeAndre Swift and then Kerryon for this season?
I think Kerryon's still the lead guy right now, but DeAndre Swift comes on swinging, or it's either one of those could get hot and just take a lot of the carries. Kerryon's ADP is probably still a little high for me, and DeAndre just don't know what's going to happen, but it's either way. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's really hard between the Lions and the Colts. We have the Colts off the list because I still think that like it's a backfield you can trust. I think Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor are going to get sufficient touches, but I do worry that DeAndre Swift could completely overtake the role over Kerryon in the end of it.
Very possible.
I don't know. Would you rather? You're going to have the Jonathan Taylor over Swift though, right?
Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor's just a more talented back.
And then would you rather have Kerryon Johnson or Marlon Mack though?
I think Kerryon. Just because Marlon Mack did have a really good season last year, but if Kerryon stays healthy, I think he's the guy to have.
Yeah, I agree. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. I know it's a little shorter, but we're a little budged on time because of assembling the podcast and everything. But we're going to try to start making towards more of a half an hour to an hour episodes. I want to start having like actual podcasts with like a couple topics that we talk about. But as always, thanks you guys for watching the Dynasty Dweebs, and we will see you guys on Friday. See ya.